this one right here, we got Frenzo, Harami, X, JJ, Esko, PIA, and you got what? Esko, and you got Frenzo. You got the Frenzo, and you got what? Esko, and you know with the just JJ Esko. So you got the JJ Esko, especially with Frenzo Harami and him having his whole like other his whole other one, but you got the PIA, you got the whole PIA, but you got what JJ Esko and Frenzo Harami. So you know them just having their whole thing and their whole just slist on, their whole slist on and their whole main slaggeries and all those, you know, those main slurgeries. You got the whole thing, but you got what the PIA, and which is Frenzo Harami and JJ Esko and them coming with their whole just slowness.
Hands beats on the slur.
It's way deeper than a couple bars. Free my brother, man, he just caught another charge. I got a few cuts and a couple scars. I'm in store with some juts and a couple dars. Belly fat, but I ain't done eating. We got it locked from ching to none. It's way deeper than a couple bars. Free my brother, man, he just caught another charge. I got a few cuts and a couple scars. I'm in store with some juts and a couple dars. Belly fat, but I ain't done eating. We got it locked from ching to none eaten. You got workers, but there ain't none eating. Bitch made 5 bills off of 1 meeting. I'm sorry for.
Ooh, the whole thing, like he's bringing that, just that, he's bringing that let's go, like that whole let's go. Like he said, I got a couple pains, I got a couple scars, you know, but you know it, you know that's what comes with the stove man. Like he said, you know, stove man. He said, you know, I got a couple workers, but you know they're not actually, you know, getting fed just like the regular people would. Like it's like the whole thing. It's like once the thing is coming around, it should be like the whole group, the whole benefit of a cabinet. But he said the whole thing. He said with the whole, we got a couple pain, couple scars, you know, couple lyrics and all this other stuff, you know, with the whole thing. And then he said, you know, he got a couple junkies, but he's still with that belly too, especially with that belly and that whole other part. Like he just really instantially
Another charge. I got a few cuts and a couple scars. I'm in store with some juts and a couple dars. Belly fat, but I ain't done eating. We got it locked from ching to none eaten. You got workers, but there ain't none eating. Bitch made 5 bills off of 1 meeting. I'm sorry for the shame that I brought. They tried run up for the cane that I bought. Bullet in your head, man, I aim at your thoughts. Tell on me that I'm sorry for the pain that I caused. Took a couple L's, it was hit and miss. Early in the morning, man, I hit the strip.
Ooh, early in the morning and I hit the strip. You know, I was making moves. I was making moves, turning up, you know, doing my little part. And he said, you know, he was, you know, doing all this other stuff, you know, with the belly and the, you know, just the belly and the thing. Like he was taking strips, taking, you know, mingerants and all this other stuff. Like it's just, you know, he got it just twisting and all type of, you know, splashing, like the whole thing. Like he said, it was a stripless thing, you know, he was doing, you know, with the whole thing, like coming from another church that started this.
Give the cocaine a little mix. 3 light, 1 dark, little mix. Frenzo and Esko, told my brother let's go. London to Leicester, time to let these skets know. Robbed all the shotters and we bring all the Zeds home. Buried all the ops, I think they need some Esko. Told my brother let's go. London to Leicester, time to let these skets know. Robbed all the shotters and we bring.
Ooh, time to let these let's know, you know, time to let these let's know. Coming from London to Leicester. Ooh, he said from Leicester. He said from London to Leicester. Ooh, like the whole thing. And he said time to let these let's know. Hey, let's go. Hey, the whole thing. Like it's just gratuities.
Bring all the Zeds home, buried all the ops, I think they need some more headstones.
Let it fly, they wouldn't. My switch sides, I couldn't.
Never.
Flick nice with pull 'em and the dots coming in wooden. No choice, I made noise, I was letting go off grams. We them brown boys, no sound toys, we plugged in, that's gang. Everything is normal, we don't pull no force behind it. We been running Mars way before coronavirus. Just from daggers to Ramos, I went from mashes to Zankos, and we were running in bandos, far as running. I couldn't.
Never.
Flick nice with pull 'em and the dots coming in wooden. No choice, I made noise, I was letting go off grams. We them brown boys, no sound toys, we plugged in, that's gang. Everything is normal, we don't pull no force behind it. We been running Mars way.
Ooh, the whole thing, like he just said it. He said with a benefit. He said, you know, we've been doing tours, we've been wearing masks way before coronavirus. Like even though the pandemic hit, you know, they was the first people to even be doing this. Like they still was doing this before everything hit. And he said, you know, it just came around. He said, you know, just the things he was doing, it came around. Like, you know, it just came with a choice. You know, they had to move how they moved. They had to come around with those toys. And he said, we toys and all these other setterings with big noise and big setterings, like they big toys, big setterings, big all this. But you know, just that lyrics, like that lyrics really makes a fact sense, because it's like, as you think about it and you go back in time and you look at what they was doing, they had it, that lyrics right there, it just makes a real strainable, like it really understands and has a fact to it, like the whole just radix.
Before coronavirus, just from daggers to Ramos, I went from mashes to Zankos, and we were running in bandos, far as running a trap phone. Drink your water every day, I need the water to keep me safe. Watch your waters, I be spraying, I know I laugh, but I feel pain. Kick back and I smoke my weed, thoughts are getting hold of me. Need to triple P, looking at NFTs on OpenSea. Heard the verdict, took it on the chin, I did my 3 years straight. Packs are flying, I just made a rackers off this Insta page. Forever trying, talking to the plug, I'm trying to innovate. I'm getting high, I'm thinking about my people that ain't here today. When the going gets tough, you know the tough get going. We were running around with ham.
Ooh, when it gets tough, you know you gotta get tough going. Hey, and the whole thing, like he just said, when it gets tough, you gotta get it going. And the whole thing, like that's another part of it, you know, him coming into it. Like he said, when it gets tough, you know, you gotta get it going. You gotta, you know, we was sending out them packages just like it was going, like the whole thing, like the lyrics and everything else, it just really sits back and maintains and hits licks and just all type of lyrics.
Hammers on a wing, Jared Bowen. I just hold my hands together for my G's, I pray. Can't still making packs fly, PIA.
Frenzo and Esko, told my brother let's go. London to Leicester, time to let these skets know. Robbed all the shotters and we bring all the Zeds home. Buried all the ops, I think they need some more headstones.
Let it fly, they wouldn't. My switch sides, I couldn't.
Never.
Flick nice with pull 'em and the dots coming in wooden. No choice, I made noise, I was letting go off grams.
No choice, I made noise, no switching. See, and that whole thing, like he said, no switching. We made choices and the whole thing, like swoosh. Like, come on, just rounds those.
Brown boys, no sound toys, we plugged in, that's gang.
With the whole thing though, but he said make toys, you know, we had to, you know, and all these other things. And he said these widdens and everything else, like he said, and then, you know, just what Frenzo had, he said London to Esko to Leicester, like who that was, you know, he had that whole kick on, like just Chris on and everything else. And he got with Esko, he's saying, you know, his whole part, you know, we had them toys, we had them waps, like most of them had cold lyrics, like the lyrics were both virtuos and everything else, so they really had it missing and, you know, skishing, like the whole thing. But with this one right here and everything else, you got the main ones. Make sure guys go draws with this one right here and everything else. But like, comment, and with this whole just lows goes it.